Hi, I'm Preetika Rao. I'm a model and actor from Mumbai, India. And today I'm going to be interviewing Jyotish Ashutosh Chawla ji, who heads the Sumeru Jyotish and Vastu Research Academy at the Art of Living Center, Bangalore. Welcome Ashutosh Chawla ji. Thank you so much for being a guest on my show. I'm really keenly looking forward to what you have in store for us today. And today we're going to touch upon spiritual astrology and chakras and grahas, and how are chakras connected to grahas. I'm very keen to know that, so please enlighten us.
Thank you so much, Preetika ji, for inviting. It is indeed a pleasure. See, when we talk about spirituality and how to ascertain spirituality looking at somebody's birth chart, we need to understand one thing very well. In the school of yoga, it is mentioned that there are three important nadis, though our subtle existence is made up of 72,000 nadis as mentioned in Yoga Shastra. However, three of them are very important. We call them Ida, Pingala, and the center one is Sushumna. These are the three nadis which runs right in the center of our body. So Ida Nadi, Pingala Nadi and Sushumna Nadi, these nadis are going in especially the Ida and Pingala nadis are going in a helical way. In every chakra, at every important junction, there are 7 important chakras again mentioned in our Yoga Shastras, starting from the Mooladhar, which is the root chakra, then the sacral chakra, which comes little above 3 inches above the Mooladhar, and then the solar plexus, we call it Surya chakra or Manipurak chakra. Then comes the Anahat chakra, which is the heart chakra. Then comes Vishuddhi chakra, throat chakra, Agya chakra, which is right between your eyes, and Sahasrar, which is few inches above your head. So though these chakras correspond to certain organs in our body, but they are part of our subtle body. And the junction point of Ida, Pingala and Sushumna are actually these chakras. These chakras ideally should be allocated at the junction point of Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. So when somebody's chakra is little disaligned, it is not exactly at the junction of Ida, Pingala and Sushumna, such people are usually not centered. They are not in equanimity. And when these chakras are centrally aligned, we say this person is very centered, very equanimous. And in Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, which means a yogi is one who is always equanimous, who is always centered. So the very definition of being spiritual is Samatvam. You have to be very centered. And how to look at if somebody is very centered or not? If we understand, only if we are able to figure out that if somebody's chakra is centrally aligned or not, we can easily ascertain that this person has spiritual potential or not. So through Jyotish, this can be ascertained. Now each chakra is actually connected with one or the other graha. In fact, not just one chakra, the junction of Ida, Pingala and Sushumna, there is very interesting thing about Ida, Pingala, Sushumna junction. They are also called Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati of our subtle existence. And wherever the three meets, it is called the Kashi of our subtle existence. So there are 7 points in our subtle body wherein the Ida, Pingala and Sushumna meets. We call it Triveni or the Kashi. There is an old saying about Kashi that anyone who leaves his body, leaves the prana in Kashi, attains moksha, attains salvation. Now this has this subtle meaning actually. So at the time of death, at the time when you are about to leave your body, when your chakras are properly aligned in the Triveni, in the junction point of Ida, Pingala and Sushumna, that's when it is said that you will attain salvation. This is the highest aspiration of any spiritual person, right? To attain liberation, to attain salvation. So it is really important now to see or ascertain if chakras are centrally aligned or not, and what we can do to bring them in alignment. So there are many Jyotishi astrological combinations which indicate that. I would like to share something very interesting with you. We have done some chakra photography of few of our students here in ashram, and it clearly showed that how the planetary position in the chart also is reflected in chakra photography, that these grahas are properly aligned and some grahas are way too disaligned. So I would like to share that slide with you. So as you see here in this slide, there are three nadis mentioned. The red one going in a helical way, it moves from the bottom to the top. It's called Pingala Nadi. And then the blue one, which comes from the top to the bottom, it is called Ida Nadi. And right in between is Sushumna Nadi. So the junction point of each of these three nadis, that should be the place of chakras. And each of these chakras are actually, when these chakras are aligned with Sushumna, they reap the highest and the most benevolent energies of different grahas. For example, if your Agya chakra is properly aligned in this Triveni, then you reap the highest and the most benevolent energy of Graha Jupiter, Brihaspati. If your energy is properly aligned in the Vishuddhi chakra, if your chakra is properly aligned to the center of Vishuddhi chakra, you will reap the highest potential energy of planet Mercury, Buddha Graha. Similarly, there are two chakras at this region. Heart chakra locates exactly in the heart, and Anahat chakra is the center one. This mistake we often make. So, Anahat chakra, if it is properly aligned to the center of your heart region, then it reaps the best energies or the most benevolent energies of two grahas, Shani and Chandra. We'll come to how Shani and Chandra, both of them are connected to heart chakra. In fact, Shani, we always consider this graha as the graha of misery, difficulties. We have always negatively seen this graha, Saturn or Shani, whenever we talk about it.
Yes.
However, Shani actually represent the intense longing of divine. It is mentioned in the beginning of creation. In Upanishads it is mentioned, it was only Brahman. The unified consciousness was the only existing thing. And in this Brahman, a sankalpa arose, a perturbation happened. And this perturbation was, I am one, let me be many. So with this, a veil of ignorance started to happen. With this veil of ignorance, the individual being were perceived. They were not created. Because of ignorance, we started to feel ourselves as individual beings. Now, because this individual being is now limited to certain identity, it misses being whole, being infinite again. So this missing of being whole and being infinite is actually termed as the longing of divine, the longing of being whole again, longing of being one again. Okay. So this intense longing of becoming one with the divine is Saturn. So when your chakras are properly aligned, this longing arises, and this is the highest kind of longing, or this is the highest kind of emotion that we experience in our heart. In fact, it is not emotion. Emotion is not a right word for it. This is the highest kind of bhakti or devotion we can experience in our heart. That's why the aligning of heart chakra becomes very, very important for a spiritual seeker. Similarly, when you get to the center of heart chakra, the lunar energy also becomes very, very benevolent. When lunar energy becomes benevolent, it means your emotions are totally centered. So these are the two important benefits we get when our heart chakra is aligned to the center, to the Triveni. If we go a little down, the next chakra is called solar plexus or Manipurak chakra. This solar plexus or Manipurak chakra, if aligned to the center, to the Triveni, then only it reaps the maximum energy of Surya Dev. Surya Dev, as we know, Surya Dev bestows us with leadership qualities, with the royal persona, and ability to have a long-term vision, ability to take care of our people. Surya is the king amongst the grahas. So all the kingly qualities develop within us if this particular chakra is aligned to the center. The next one comes Shukra. The next chakra, the Swadhisthana chakra, if it is aligned to the center, it reaps the maximum or the most benevolent energies of Shukra. The most benevolent energies of Shukra makes us cherish every beautiful thing in this world in a very positive way without hurting it, without causing any damage to the nature. So that's the most beautiful and the best benevolent energy of planet Shukra. The root chakra, the last one, If it is balanced, it fetches us the maximum energy or the most benevolent energy of Mars. The most benevolent energy of Mars talks about non-violence. Though Mars itself, we understand it's a planet of war, and amongst the cabinet of grahas, Mars has been rated as commander-in-chief. So mostly we associate Mars with violence and fights, isn't it? But when Mars is most benevolent, it's in its best position, it makes you absolutely non-violent. That is why Mahavir, if you refer to the Jainism, the Jain scriptures, Mahavir is called Mahavir, which means the most valorous, because he has perfected non-violence. So the highest energy of Mars is non-violence and high order of energy. Always enthusiastic, always putting some efforts, doing something, always active physically. That's what the best energy of Mars brings us in life. So it is important that we reap maximum and the most benevolent energies of these grahas. But if chakras are disaligned, the more they are towards left or right, the benevolence starts to reduce.
So I just want to ask a question at this point. My question to you here is, when we are we born with already perfectly aligned chakras, or do they get dislocated or imbalanced in the course of life, or through rather maybe some bad experiences or emotions?
Absolutely, you are very right, Preetika ji. When a child is born, the child looks very beautiful, very attractive to everyone. And one of the indication of being spiritual is that you become like a child. You become that innocent, you become that attractive to everyone. That's one of the quality of being a highly spiritual soul. So when a child is born, though there is no classical references I have read about this thing, or we have not gone into any kind of research on infants also. But as per my understanding, when a child is born, the child should be born with perfectly aligned chakras. And with the course of time, with the different exposure and the different actions and reactions to the world, the chakras get disaligned. In fact, when we did this research on our students, we have seen, in fact, one of the students has reported, even though a graha is showing a very positive sign that chakra should be aligned with the center, but in the photography, it was not aligned. Then I asked this question, did something bad happen this morning? And then she shared that, yes, I've got a very bad news. It was a heartbreaking news for me just before I went for photography, for chakra photography. So it was very obvious that with different emotions and different exposure to the world, our chakras get disaligned. And we have to do constant sadhana. That's what the sadhana is all about. That's what the spiritual practices are all about. If we do these spiritual practices like meditating every day, doing some pranayama, doing some asanas, all these spiritual practices are actually to bring your chakras back to the center. And that's what is one of the important indication of you being spiritual.
Wow. Very, very interesting, and something I have never heard about, in astrological discussions. This is like a revelation to me, and I'm so glad that we're hitting upon this topic today.
So, would you like to see some of the snapshots of the chakras of our students we did?
Yes, definitely.
So here, as you see, the chakras are not all centrally aligned. The center line is Sushumna Nadi. There are 3 chakras which are centrally aligned: the root chakra, Mooladhara chakra, the solar plexus, and the top chakra, the Sahasrara chakra. The Sahasrara chakra being aligned means you are very spiritually balanced person, and somebody who is a spiritual aspirant, who always constantly think of spiritual growth. Such people usually have their Sahasrara, the crown chakra, aligned to Sushumna. Now, I've also shared the birth chart along with it. If you see, Surya is in the Lagna, wherein those who understand Jyotish will understand Surya get the maximum Digbal. The directional strength is received by Surya when it is in Lagna or in the 10th house. So Surya is pretty good, and it is also in Leo, which is its own sign. So Surya's strength is pretty good, but still it is not at its best. The best energy is reaped when Surya is in Aries. So the chakra should be either slightly left, slightly right, aligned naturally. However, during this time when this photography happened, all these students were doing Gayatri Mantra 3 times a day. And Gayatri Mantra has a profound impact on Manipurak Chakra. That's how the chakra has become more aligned to the center. Similarly, they were also doing some permaculture, some agricultural seva every morning, and doing some seva or doing some farming or putting your hands into the mud, doing a little bit of gardening. All these things align your root chakra. That's why you see the root chakra is also aligned. So here, as you see, again, Surya is in Lagna, is in the ascendant, and it is Aries. And you see this chakra is little more aligned to the center than the previous one. Of course, Mars's position is not that great, but because they were doing the same seva, that's how the Mars position is also here. There is another chart which I didn't put it in this presentation, but I remember there was a lady whose Venus is in Virgo, which is considered as the Neecha Rashi or the debilitation sign for Venus. And her chakra is way towards left from the center. So it was very clearly indicated that how if a graha is positively placed in your birth chart, it is easy for you to align it back to the center. If grahas are negatively placed in your birth chart, in that area of life you need to do more tapas, more penance or more sadhana. So that chakra also comes back to the center. But it is quite possible through different means, through different remedial measures to bring it back to the center. And of course, asanas, pranayamas, Maharishi Patanjali has given all the 8 ways to bring your chakras back to the center. In addition to it, there are different Jyotish remedies also which are used to bring these chakras to the center.
So would you be able to throw light upon what Maharishi Patanjali has to say about aligning the chakras perfectly?
So Maharishi Patanjali has given 8 limbs to get, or 8 ways to get established in yoga. They are called Ashtanga Yoga. The first amongst the Ashtanga Yoga is Yama. Yama means following certain discipline in life. There is a lot about what are these disciplines. We can go, this will take a detour, we'll get into this sometime later probably, but having discipline in life is one of them. The second one is niyamas. There are certain rules that you should follow to be on spiritual path. Those are also listed. You should follow those niyamas. Then comes asanas. You do certain exercises, certain body stretches are mentioned. Again, that's a huge field, what asanas impact what chakra and what body part, and what all nadis get opened if you perform certain asanas. That's another field.
Can you share only one asana maybe that can help do this? Like, is there any particular one asana, if practiced daily, can help balance most of the chakras?
I would suggest doing sun salutations, Surya Namaskar, every single day. At least 12 rounds of Surya Namaskar.
Okay.
It balances a lot of chakras.
Surya Namaskar.
Yes,
Wow, that's
yes.
a nice
Yes.
tip from you. And would you say that pranayama would also help?
Yes, in fact, the next one I'm coming to after pratyahara, the next one is pranayama. So doing some breathing exercises is also very important, and there are different pranayamas prescribed by Maharishi Patanjali to deliver different kinds of results, to open certain nadis, to bring some chakras in alignment. So of course, this is a huge field again.
Okay.
After pranayama, so we have covered yamas, niyamas, pratyahara, asanas, pranayamas. Then there are the next 3 subtle steps which are called dharana, dhyan and samadhi. So dharana is putting your attention on something, and when this attention becomes seamless, there are 2 different kind of flows mentioned in classical texts. One flow is like that of water. So water, when it flows, it spreads everywhere. The other flow is like that of an oil. It flows like in a seamless motion. So when your attention becomes like a flow of an oil in a seamless motion, then it becomes dhyana. And with constant dhyana, suddenly you move to a state called samadhi, which is absolutely thoughtlessness, in a zero state of mind. So this is a happening which happens with us. If you are practicing dharana and dhyan every single day, you experience samadhi, but you cannot really make an effort to get into it.
It's a natural process.
Yes, it naturally happens. So these are the 8 ways given by Maharishi Patanjali for a faster or a quick spiritual growth. Of course, if we go into Bhagavad Gita, again the new chapter opens up and there are 4 yogas given by Lord Krishna also for quicker spiritual growth. In fact, towards the end of Bhagavad Gita, he has given a very simple way to align all your chakras and to attain the ultimate aim of spirituality, which is salvation. He has said, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha yishyami ma shuchah. So towards the end, in the 18th chapter, Lord Krishna, after giving all the knowledge to Arjuna, he mentions that you should leave all other systems, all other orders, all other dharmas. Just do what I'm saying. And I assure you that you will be freed from all the sins and you will be salvated, you will be liberated. Don't worry at all. I will free you. So this was an assurance given by Lord Krishna to all the devotees, all the seekers, that if you follow just what I say, you will finally attain the liberation. Don't worry about anything else. But of course, in Jyotish text also, not everybody can surrender. I mean, in fact, if we talk about surrendering, this shloka of Lord Krishna actually talks about surrendering. But we understand that surrendering is not everyone's fortune. Not everyone can surrender to divine that easily, because our own ignorance, our own concepts comes in between.
Yeah.
So in Jyotish text, there are certain combinations which are given, which indicates that if a person can actually follow this path or not.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ashutosh ji, for this session.
Thank you so much, Preetika ji.
Thank you so much.